Divine greetings, entities, energies, lovelies, bodies of light, the seekers and sojourners of truth, the 144, chosen of the chosen few. You know who you are, especially during these times. It's while we out here in these, spiritual streets. I greet you all in the love that lights the truth from my heart to yours. I am Akila Textry in the divine energy essence of it all. Reporting to you live, always from the fifth dimension, from the 5D consciousness. I just love this pretty blue hue that I got going on right here. Sometimes I love catching the skies at the right moment. I prefer in the day, but this is beautiful, beautiful blue. Right, as usual, I bring you the news to infuse if you so choose. And I'm infused with this light grid activation always. Happy 5-5 portal. Yes, today is a portal day, as I always mention whenever there are repetitive numbers or palindrome numbers. It is a portal. It is an energetic hotspot. So plug in, get in where you fit in. You probably have already been plugged up because, as you can see, it's pretty much coming to the closing of the day, but I still want to wish you happy 5-5 portal. There's some new information I have hot off the press, out the ethers, downloads, fresh downloads that I got in a meditation today. And so we're going to talk about that because it has to do with updating the CPU in our soul, right? Our central processing unit. It speaks to how we process these lights, the fourth density light, the fifth density light that has to do with 5D, right? As usual, everything that I tell you is about helping us to transition into 5D. Of course, it's always to better our soul, better our elevate our soul, activate our DNA activation, soul activation, all of this that helps elevate us to the next level of our soul self, which helps us as the collective soul body of the earth, that helps us to transit into 5D. It's all about how we're entering into the new earth consciousness, right? Which is all about expanding our consciousness. So first I'm going to give a little tidbit about the 5D, about the 5-5. See, I was going to say 5D portal. The 5-5 portal, which is because it's the 5th of May, 5-5, right? When it's next month, it'll be the 6-6 portal, and so on, wherever you see these repetitive numbers. And so I am going to give a little bit, got this little bug thing out here, so catching a little bugs, because last time I was ninja, doing the ninja with the hey y'all, wax on, wax off, with the bugs. So I got a little bug light. So you may hear them getting fried. I don't mean to be cruel to nature, but I need y'all to see. This one needed to catch in there. I need y'all to give me my space. See, because they be all up in everywhere. Right? So with that said, I'm going to give you a little bit about the 5-5 portal, and then I'm going to give you the tea, the galactic tea, the sugar honey iced tea, but it really is the shits. On our processing of the soul, upgrading and updating our CPU, because that's what all of this is doing. Even when we enter these energetic hot spots, it's a opportunity. I was going to say a opportunity. It's an opportunity for us to hop in through the portal, portaling through these energetic hotspots that allow us to process something energetically. How we enter the portal, I always say, whatever you're doing, it's all about the pre-portal work. So whatever you're doing leading up to the portal is how you will transit through the portal, right? Meaning your soul work. Have you been journaling? Have you been excavating your soul? Have you been tapping in, tune in to tune up? All of that good stuff. All right, so let me give you a little tidbit on the 5-5 portal so we can get right into it. So this one, as it was brought to me, I'm going to share that with you, which is portaling. As we portal through the physical spiritual balance. Oh, by the way, let me mention that, because as I go into it, you're going to hear that. So the number 5 usually represents the physical spiritual balance, the balance between the physical spiritual realms, which can also be looked at as the masculine, feminine. Also 5 being fifth dimensional is also about expression. It is about when we've reached the point of expressing our creation that is experiencing through time in an expression, meaning it's in the atmosphere, right? If you look at this from the chakra standpoint, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it is the fifth chakra going up, which is the throat, which is about expression, expressing yourself, putting it out there in the air, which the throat chakra is the atmospheric body. So you see it all kind of, it's very intrinsic. I love, as I always say, it's the intrinsic design, right? In the Masters of Time. And if you're going from the crown going down, the fifth would actually be the solar plexus, which is the I am. So how you are being in your I am is also important. How you're showing up in your soul's purpose is also how you are expressing. So kind of look at it like that. So as we portal through the physical and spiritual balance, we are finding the harmony between the duality of the masculine, feminine energies that brings the trinity of creative completion into existence. Why is it said that way? Because the harmony of duality is 2, right? 2 and 3 makes 5. So the harmony of duality is 2. And that harmony brings us into the Trinity, which is the creative completion. When you harmonize the 2, you create the third party, as I always say. So the creative completion is brought into existence through that harmonizing. So you see how that duality harmonizing brings that about, and that 2 and 3 harmonizing to bring the 3 about brings us to the 5, which means now we have a spiritual, physical balance, or a masculine feminine balance, depending on how you want to look at it. So that explains that part. It is the 5th point balance that brings the foundational balance of 4D into expression at a 5th dimensional level. So for meaning just the foundational balance is 4. 4 usually represents foundational balance. So it's bringing that 4. If you can imagine a pyramid, 1, 2, 3, 4 points on the ground, and when it brings up, when you raise those, let's say if you look at it linear, you raise the lines of each point to meet in the middle, the pyramid, then you have the 5th point. So basically raising the consciousness, raising the balance, the foundational balance, because the bottom of that pyramid is a foundation. So when you raise that foundational balance, you have the 5th point at the pyramid, which is representing that expression. And then if you can imagine everything being expressed out from that point, once you reach the 5th point, it's expression all the way out. If you can kind of imagine that pyramid with the light shooting out of it, the information that is, coming out of it, or information may be coming into expression, right? So kind of look at it like that. So that is what brings us into expression, which is at a 5th dimensional level. This 5-5 portal is helping to tether us to the harmony of creation that is necessary to experience the expression of time in 5D. So the 5-5, which is really bringing us allowing us to see the balance of the physical and spiritual, is really helping us to tether ourselves to this harmony that brings us into this creation and everything that's necessary for us to experience time, which is the 4D essence. The 4D essence is also considered time experiencing creation, right? That's the 4th dimensional aspect. So it's necessary for us to experience this time in 5D. So what that's saying, at a soul level, our thoughts and feelings, because that is the masculine, feminine energy of our soul's consciousness, thoughts and feelings, conscious and subconscious mind. So our thoughts and feelings, as the masculine and feminine of our soul mind, are being called into harmony for a true realization in our consciousness. And that is also sacral energy. Sacral chakra is about having a realization of the 2, the masculine, feminine energy that brings that harmony into that sacred union. So it's really kind of calling us into that. Some of us right now are being called to bring those the thoughts and feelings into a harmony, that masculine and feminine energy into a harmony, and that harmony creates. And remember, the sacral chakra is also all about creation and creativity, right? So it's about bringing that harmony for a true realization in our consciousness, which which brings rise to our superconsciousness, our superconscious divine mind that guides us with wisdom into the 5D new earth. So in order for us to tap into that superconscious, which is that third party, the Son, S-O-N, Mother, Father, the Trinity, the divinity of Trinity within, right? Our threefold of our soul's consciousness, which is conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. The harmony that's being done within the soul is the conscious and the subconscious all the time. That's our thoughts and feelings. That's our masculine, feminine energy. This is where we're doing all the work in our soul's consciousness. And when we have a harmony with that, we allow the free-flowing ideas to come through the superconscious mind. We allow the birth of Christ to happen. We allow that risen, wise ego. We allow our Heru to come forth, right? That superconscious mind is that divine mind. So when it brings that divine mind, that realization in consciousness is that harmony that brings forth that divine mind, which is what guides us with the wisdom, meaning the free-flowing ideas that's going to be coming, right? Because that's why they say spirit, the still small voice, right? And it gets louder. The more you harmonize, the louder that still small voice gets, which is just the divine mind within you, the Christ mind, the I am that I am, that mind. Your image and likeness that is the divine is your superconscious mind. So it's when we awaken that harmony that we have in our soul's consciousness awakens that, and it guides us into the 5D new earth, right? I feel like something flew in my shirt. I don't know what it is, but it needs to get out. Get out. All right, so with all this happening, this is a little tidbit, and then I'll get into the juice, the processing, upgrading of the processing. So with this happening during the earth element cycle or sign, because we're in Taurus, we're being called to grounding and connecting. We're being called to grounding and connecting with nature, to listen to the netter, right? The netter, which is that divine nature. For those of us who are familiar with the Kemetic studies, with the Kemetic ways, which are our ancient ancestors and the origins from where a lot of our information come from, including the cosmos. Those are from our ancient ancestors. So I digress. But when we allow that, we are connecting to the nature and to listen to the netter as it orchestrates this harmony naturally, right? If we get in and we tap into the earth and we return to tapping into the earth, it orchestrates this naturally as the two-dimensional consciousness. The earth itself existing as elements and plant life and things like that is already natural. That's the 2D consciousness. So it already has a natural instinct to harmonize. It naturally, the earth, Gaia, whatever you choose to call it, naturally harmonizes. There's always a masculine, feminine energy that is always happening within the plants, within nature, within the elements itself. There's always this harmonizing happening. So when we tune in, we're being guided, to listen a little bit more, ground in and tune in, because it naturally does it. This allows us to rejuvenate the divine feminine, that restores the divine masculine, that returns us to the harmony of that sacred union. So this is all the intel from what we can get through the 5-5 portal, right? What to pay attention to. And it doesn't have to be that way. People portal in different ways, but just to give some kind of guide as, what to be looking for. When we think of 5-5, these numbers, they speak to us as well. There's coding in the numbers. So what are we looking at? We're looking at the harmony between the masculine and feminine energy. We're looking at the grounding with the earth, because the feminine energy is also, I don't want to say the earth. We look at it as Mother Earth, but it can also be looked at as masculine energy as well. In Kemetic studies, that's known as Jeb, right? The Nut is the heavens, and the earth actually is Jeb. And that is true. It actually may be more true to the study of the stars and to the universe and the ethers, because of understanding the creative activity and the receptive activity. And I may have to do a whole different video just breaking that down, but the creative activity is really like a masculine energy. We're talking energies, not genders. It's a masculine energy. So that is why it would be looked at as Jeb, anything to do within the realms of the earth, and bringing, even though it takes both the masculine and feminine to create, anything that is creating is doing, and that is more action, and that is more masculine energy. The heavens is more the newt. It's more the receptive energy, the feminine energy, because the feminine energy is receptive. We are the receivers. We witness, and it is through receptivity that we are allowed to give, through Jeb, through the, and that's the balance. It's a balance with creativity and receptivity. Again, even that is saying 5. The balance between the physical and the spiritual is the balance between the creativity and the receptivity, because the spiritual is more on the receptive side. It's less action, it's more non-action, and it's more based on responding, based on receptivity. So that's understanding that balance, right? So that is restoring us to that sacred union. And this is why, as we go through Taurus right now, with the cosmos and the energies, it's really giving us a chance, after what we've just been through in April with some real heightened, shaky, ground shaking energies. Now it's kind of like settling. Like now we're feeling the dust settle. For those of you who are hearing me say that, wait till the dust settle, when I was talking about the eclipse and everything, now the dust is actually settling, as I said it would, around the end of April or like the beginning of May, which is more likely May, because the end of April, the 20th specifically, that conjunction was like pow, lightning bolt. So it kind of shook up the earth a little bit in order for us to allow the dust to settle. So now it's settling with this new moon coming up, and we have Pluto that now went into retrograde. So now Pluto's kind of, sitting back a little bit and giving us some time to really look at the revelations that were coming up to us as it entered into Aquarius. So now it's like settling back. It's in its retrograde mode, so it's like a pull back and giving us a chance to look back, and as the dust settles, really look at what's kind of happening. And with the masculine feminine energies, after Venus was conjunct with Saturn, then Mars conjunct with Saturn, like Saturn kind of put the woe on both of them as they were exiting Pisces. So they were coming, and Pisces being the end of the cycle, closing that out. I'm just highlighting bringing the highlights through so we can kind of see how we are coming to the dust settling right now. And it's allowing those energies to, it's almost like the masculine feminine energy, which is what Venus and Mars represents as well. It's almost like they had to come through something at the end cycle there. Like there was some karmic, because the house of karma is Pisces, and it's the end of the astrology calendar. So as it's coming to a close, it's almost like it went through a washboard, like it had to get washed through Saturn, and then pass through being conjunct with Neptune, which Neptune kind of enhances the dreams, and and being in its home space of Pisces. So it's almost like it got a shake up, check yourself before you wreck yourself, pass through with Saturn, and then now here, let me incline you onto your dreams. And so now that they're both, coming through that masculine feminine energies, that's the balance that we're kind of feeling now. As the dust settles, we're able to look at our thoughts and our feelings of everything that's been going on with a better eye, especially if you're grounding, right, in this sign right now, taking the time to ground. So that gives you a little tidbit there with the 5-5 portal. Now the processing, this may have to be a part 2. I don't know. We're going to see how this go. So this is now speaking to the updating our CPU of our soul. So the download that I was getting from that, let's see if you guys stick with me if you can. It may be a little convoluted, as Dolores Cannon says, this convoluted universe that we're in. However, keep in mind, it's speaking to this 5D orchestra that's going on right now, the symphony that's playing, that's helping us into the 5D consciousness and expanding us there. As we do, let me break it down like this. There's a breakdown here. We're looking at 5D. being in 5D. Let's look at that as a staple point, right? There's 5D, and then there is the fifth density light. The density light is different from, because I look at two 5Ds. I look at 5D as in fifth density, speaking about the fifth density light that is being, poured in, that is accelerating, right? And then there's 5D, the fifth dimension, which is the dimension, the mansion, room, or realm that we are in at this point. And so Earth has kicked up to 5D. With all of us, our help, of course, it is because of mankind's evolution. And that's how you know we are evolved and we're getting better. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise. Some people like to say, oh, we getting worse. I know things look rough, but collectively as a people and over, if you look at the totality of time, we have evolved. And with our evolution, as we evolve with the light. The light speeds up. As we are conduits of the light, we channel in this light. And because we connect with the earth, we are the conduits that helps this light energy and information come through into the earth. So don't even let them tell you about overpopulation. That's a lie. No such thing. The more people that are here on the earth, the more conduits of light that we have, the more the frequencies can speed up. So we're actually helping to speed up these frequencies, right? Which is a good thing. But that opposition energy, the enemy, they're the ones that want you to believe there's too many people on the earth. No, we're helping the earth process, right? The CPU of the earth. So we all, as a soul, we have CPUs, central processing unit, right? The computer is a replica of our divine matrix, our divine makeup. Remember that. So there's a CPU of the earth itself, as the earth is a soul. So the earth is at 5D, right? I say all that to say that. The earth is at 5D, and we have fifth density light pouring in. However, that does not mean that everyone's CPU can process the fifth density light. We have people who are at, let's say, a fourth density. I want to say it like this. This is how it was revealed to me. It was speaking of the seventh dimension, knowing though that we're not there yet. We're at 5D, but there is a possibility, of course, in the future getting to that next dimension. But we're activating, everyone at a soul level is activated at a fourth density light, meaning collectively most of us are processing. Think of our CPU. When I speak density, think of how we're processing the light. So most of us are at a fifth density CPU, processing at fifth density level, right? Even though fifth density light is being poured in, we're processing fourth density. So the fourth density is really being activated, which is more from a fourth dimensional realm, right? Some people are still processing at a 3 density light, and this is why the evolution has to take place, right? We're all here at this specific time for a specific reason, to advance our souls, like at a extreme level, right? At a big jump, a quantum jump type level. And so we're here to now jump from being whatever level our souls were at. We're at different levels. Most people are probably at a third dimensional level. I'm saying third dimensional soul, not just a 3D on existing on earth, your soul level. And so those are the ones that are really having a hard time. Those who are really boxed into the shadows of the 3D, and those who are really having a hard time with this transit, I can almost guarantee that their processing, their CPU is at 3 density. So that's a bit of a struggle when you think about it, when most people are activating the 4th density CPU level. This is what most people are processing now. At an advanced level, you have advanced souls, advanced master souls who are at self-mastery and things like that. The chosen of the chosen of the chosen few. There are some of us, and I said us because yes, I know I'm one of them. There are some of us, and even higher than me, there are some of us that are processing, that are able to process the 5th density light that is pouring in. That's where our CPU level is at. Those who are able to do that, those are the ones of us who have actually shifted the timelines. We have quantum leap. We have jumped across multiple timelines in our lifetime, in this lifetime, and have cleared a lot of karmic soot, the karmic wheels in our soul. So even from past lives, we've been clearing up some of that, which even when you clear up past lives in this life, it even quantum leaps you further. It catapults you further to entering into the fifth density, the fifth dimensional consciousness, of expanding your consciousness onto that 5D, 5-dimensional consciousness. And once you have shifted those timelines, pushed the timelines, and are now existing at the 5th dimensional level, right? And that doesn't mean you may even be more than 5D. Some of us are at a 6th dimensional level, at a 7th dimensional level. There are some that are really operating from that level in their soul in this lifetime, because of how they are, their CPUs are really high, so to speak, and they're able to process the 5th density light, because that's where the earth is at right now. So those who are processing, who are at the 5D level, let me put it that way, and I'm not saying just because you know a 5D or you hear a 5D, or you have to truly be in a true time reality. You have to tap into the true time reality existing on the 5th dimensional plane to be able to process the 5th density light. And it's okay if you're not. Some people may just now be learning about 5D, may just be waking up, and that's okay too. And for those, I would say those people are more like in a real-time reality, and they are processing the 4th density light. Their CPU is 4D. 4D meaning 4th density, right? And that's okay too, because as you continue, the more we do that, the more you process at the 4th density level, the more you do the work, the more eventually you'll continue to process that 4th density, continue to activate that 4th density light, until eventually you get to the 5th dimensional plane. Once you have arrived at the 5th dimensional plane, your CPU is going to upgrade, and you'll be able to then process the 5th density light. I saw a bigger bug that I had to, it was a beetle. I think it was a beetle. I gotta watch out for these bugs. It's a big one. Excuse me. He must want to be fried. Ooh, it looked like the it almost looked like the beetle from, what do you call that? Get away, get away. It almost looks like the beetle from in Kemet. I forgot what it's called. There's a word for it, but it has to do with like life, rebirth, the life death cycle, and rebirth, and coming back into the new life, rebirth, and so forth. So maybe that's a sign, you know, rebirth. Message, I take the messages as they come. Message, that could be a sign as well. And it really looks like, I can't remember the name right now, and I was just looking at some ancient Kemetic work. But yes, it has to do with that rebirth process. Which god does it have to do with? It'll come to me later. But that is a message about the death to rebirth process. So in order for us, some of you may be saying, well, how do I get to that? So yes, death to rebirth needs to happen, and that's what Pluto is about. Pluto is about great transformation and death to rebirth, as it rules Scorpio, and our last full moon was a full moon in Scorpio. So what was the death to rebirth that you took in from that? And right now, as the dust is settling, we're at a space of looking at the rebirth. What is the rebirth? And in order for there to be a rebirth, there has to be a death. So a death of old concepts, old ideas, old ways of thinking. These old things are falling away, right? Simple things like what I said about the population. We have to change our concepts of there being too many people on this earth. That's a lie, right? There's enough people here, and we need more. The more people, the more conduits of light we have, the more light can come through onto this earth and be translated, transmuted. We are temples. The pyramids are made in the image of us, in replica of us, of our ancient ones, understanding them being a conduit of light and energy and information. And so the pyramids, that's why no one can really understand how, because they don't understand what they made it for, but we know. Some of us know. So either way, I digress. I don't want to go too much into that. I want to focus on this processing because it's very interesting. And faithfully, I didn't confuse anybody with that information. But know the upgrading of your processing. And in order to upgrade, we have to have that death to rebirth. And I think that's what that beetle was really highlighting. We have to be willing to let go of the old, to release, to let go. What you think you know, the wisest man know he knows nothing at all. So erase what you think you may know. Get out of the logical mind. The shadows of the age of the knowing, the Aquarian age, which is the age of the knowing, the shadows of that is just being caught up in so much information. So be very mindful of just collecting information without doing your due diligence, without doing your work, right? Even in watching, information like this, that what I'm giving and others like me are giving, it's good, to tap into that. But then what are you doing with that? Right? Don't just collect the information. Don't hoard the information, all right? But take it in and then process it. We are CPUs. Put it through the CPU of your soul. Process it. Let it go through the book of life within so you can see what it is for you, how we are coming to a harmony and a balance within ourselves, our soul's consciousness, the thoughts and feelings, returning to the feminine, the divine feminine, to allow ourselves to restore the divine masculine, right? And it's this harmony that we're having, that we're using and we're understanding, that allows us to be a true expression. The fifth dimension is about expression. Are we expressing everything that we've gathered in the previous dimensions? That's expanding the third dimension to the fourth dimension and into the fifth, right? But how are you processing the light? What is your CPU? And so just know that for general, most people generally are at fourth density CPU. So it's like, what kind of CPU you got? 4D. Most people, right? I got like a 5D CPU, fifth density, so I can process the fifth density light. It's not easy processing this light. So if you're at fourth density, consider it a blessing and continue to do what you can. The more you release, the more you remove the resistance. Think about it like that. As conduits of this light and energy, a lot of us have resistance. The soot on our soul, the karmic stuff from past lives, all of that is resistance in our conduits. So when we remove the resistance, we open the flow for that light to come through. We make it easier for that light to come through. But the first step is death to rebirth. The first step is removing the resistance. A lot of us are putting up a resistance, and we want this knowledge and we want this information, but we don't want to process, right? We are processors, central processing unit, CPU of the soul. And in order for us to get that update, and when you don't get that update, let me speak about it in this way. When you don't allow the update to happen, you know how when your phone says, hey, you got to update, or your phone is not going to be functioning? You're not going to be functioning well if we don't get that update, if we don't take the update when these updates come. And the more the light is pouring in, although you're processing, you may be processing at a 4D level, the light is pouring in at a fifth density level. And the more it's pouring in, it's almost like a pressure. And I've explained this before in a way old video about the light grid. So it's like, as that light is coming in, it's like, if it doesn't match up with you on the light grid, it can be like a block, and then it's like a pressure, and it pressures you, and then you start to go into a depression, right? Because of not being able to release and let go. And some of you know better, but you're not doing better, and that's why the heat is getting turned up for you, because we're responsible for what we know. It's not enough to just collect the information. Now you're going to be responsible to process the information, or else you're just dumping information in and it doesn't have anywhere to go because you're not releasing, you're not removing the resistance within your soul. So you have to let go of old concepts. Please go back into your soul and revisit how you believe in things, how you see things, how you see family, how you see, especially right now, relationships and things like that, because of where our South Node is in Libra, and also just where the stars are right now, where, you know, Venus, the ruler of Taurus, is in its sign. Venus is also about the beautiful, the finer things in life, or let's say material, you know, the way we value things in life, material things and family. this is an opportunity as the dust is settling for us to revamp and re-look, respect how we look at valuables. What do you consider valuable, and why is it valuable? Is it valuable by the standard of your soul's integrity or by spirit? Or is it valuable because society has made it valuable? Society has advertised and sent you ads, and so this looks valuable to you. You know, what is valuable and why? And some of the things that we have as valuable, we need to tear it up and throw it away. That is not valuable, right? Not trying to tell anybody what to find valuable, but for us to look at what no longer serves us. It's not valuable according to the degrees that we want to step up in our soul. It's not valuable to the upgrade. There you go. When your phone is upgrading, things that are no longer inclined with that upgrade, it's like it's null and void, right? The phone has to be upgraded, updated, and so some things are like, we don't even know what it is sometimes. A lot of times we're like, I don't even know what happened, until one day we go in and we try to use the phone the way we used to using it, and it's like, wait a minute, this is not how it used to function, right? So it's kind of like that with our updating and our upgrading. When we get that update, which these portals do it, vortex and different energy transits that we go through helps us to update and upgrade our CPU. We get an opportunity to remove certain things from within us. We get an opportunity to enhance our development, our soul's development, and incline to our spiritual blueprint, to our spirit's design, and what has been designed for us, by us, for us, by us. It's FUBU, y'all. It's for us, by us. We are the ones that have pre-sent to do the work. We're pre-sent because we have sent ourselves through spirit, infinite beings that we are, right? I don't want to go too deep into that, but I say all that to say, you know, look at the upgrade of your CPU. Faithfully, I didn't confuse anybody on this one. Let me know. Please like, subscribe, and share if you dare, and let me know in the comments, what do you think about this CPU of your soul? Where do you think you are in this level? Or do you witness some, you know, people at the 3D? I'm telling you, the 3 density, when I say 3D, the 3 density CPUs are the ones that's going to be that are having a challenge and are going to be having a challenge the more this light pours in. And those are the ones, I didn't say it before, but those are the ones who are in the midst of these purges, because we're having different purges. Every time there's a purge, those are the ones that are looping out, that are purging out, whether they're leaving this earth physically, or they're leaving maybe out of their mind type of aspect, or they're just leaving your presence. They're not able to keep up because they're at a slower processing, right? If you think about computers, the process, the 5th density is really high frequency, and they're at a low frequency. So it's hard for them to deal with these frequencies. So it's like a clash. And so anytime there's a purge, those are the ones that are falling out. Those are the ones that are falling away. And sometimes it's taking some people that they don't necessarily have to be at a 3 density. They may be at a 4th density, but they're being carried away, sometimes being brought down with others that they are connected with at the 3 density level. Sometimes there are sacrifices that are being made. This is very intrinsic. You know, there's a lot of convoluted things going on because the desperate energies, let me put it that way, they're being dragged down by the desperate energies, because the desperate energies are doing what they do still, but we allow it according to what we're doing. So we have to be very careful for those of you that are entering into higher frequencies and wanting to upgrade and update. Be careful of what you're doing in your environment, because the energies are doing what they do, and the desperate energies that are going to be dragging, you know, you down according to your vibrational hookups, right? So with that said, see, we got some noise, we got some disturbance already coming in, so I'm gonna close it out there. That be the disturbance. I told you, them desperate energies, this is what they do. While you are doing you, they come in and they just with the loud noise. And so we got to find a quiet place. Find a quiet place. Find a sacred space that you can go to and ground and tap into you. So with that said, happy 5/5 portal again. Get into your CPU of your soul. Know what your CPU is, and enjoy the rest of your day until we meet again. Each one, reach one, teach one. If you don't know where to start, start in your big, beautiful heart. Shine your light from the inside out and be the candle that lights the next one and the next one and the next one. Peace, love, and light.